How's it going, people, and welcome to the Supporters Club, a brand new show here on AFTV hosted by myself, Turkish, discussing everything Arsenal, Premier League and the latest headlines. Obviously, Ramsey's contract is up for debate. I've got with me Lee, Robbie and Kelechi, very well-known Arsenal fans, so let's get straight into it. Aaron Ramsey divides opinion, so Rob, let's start with you.
Thanks for putting me on the spot. Me first. Oh, I like Ramsey. I love Aaron Ramsey, as a matter of fact. And, you know, listen, he's, in recent times, you have to say that he's the guy that, you know, won us 2 trophies in, you know, in the FA Cup. So, you know, but I have to say, I did feel that in the summer, I'm not even sure if I'm blaming this contract situation on Ramsey. I'm blaming this on Arsenal Football Club, yeah? Because I remember in the summer when I was doing my transfer shows, I remember almost every day saying that, what's happening with Ramsey? Ramsey still hasn't signed a deal yet. When are we going to get this done? And then as it was drawing on, I was then starting to say towards the end of the transfer window, if Ramsey doesn't sign a new deal, then we need to sell him. Yep. Not because I wanted to sell him, but because I was just looking on it and saying to myself, if we don't sell this guy, we're going to have another Alexis Sanchez situation, Robin van Persie. I mean, listen, there's been hundreds down the years, loads of them. So I'm like, let's sell him now, if he's not signing, and cash in on him. We didn't do that. We've still got him now, and now there's a situation where, you know, basically at the end of this season, he can walk away for free, which means the club's not going to make no money off of a guy that, he's not like he's 35 or nothing like that, he's 27.
Prime.
He's in the prime of his career. And I just think that, you know, Ivan Gazidis and all those guys who were previously doing all of these transfers, Dick Law and stuff like that, they've got a lot to answer for. Yep. I blame this situation on them. However, I have to say, is he worth, you know, the rumours are he's demanding up to over £200,000 a week. Is he worth that? I don't know. I mean, having said that, when I've seen that Luke Shaw's getting like supposedly getting 195 grand, and maybe he's worth it. But I don't know, I just think that this situation has been, you know, it's been created by us. And then the other thing is now, does Ramsey even fit in the team anymore?
The plans, yeah.
Because, and I think that could be why Emery's turned around and says, you know, we'll just, or whoever, is it Emery's decision or is it the club's decision that they're going to let him go? Because maybe, I'm just thinking, you know, we need a winger, really.
It sounds like
more than a central player, don't we? We've got so many players.
Sounds like it's whose decision?
Emery's.
Okay. Sorry.
You don't think?
You don't agree?
Well, yeah, maybe a tactical decision. I don't know, but it's strange for a club to pull.
The reason I say I feel like it's his decision is because we've had contract issues in the past and we've never pulled out.
No, why did he give Iwobi a new contract? Give Chambers a new contract?
It's easy.
He didn't pull it out.
Easy.
And then Glazidis was still there. Then immediately Glazidis stepped down, they pulled out the contract. I mean, he's still the coach. He could have as well told Glazidis, yeah, I don't want him. So why did he have to wait? Because it's not fair on the young man, and it's not fair on us fans because we are losing money. Now, if this was in the Wenger era, they would be blaming Wenger and saying, oh, Wenger, clueless, this. But nobody's shouting because, yeah.
No, but maybe that's because in Unai Emery's case, as I said, he's looking on it and he's saying to himself, you know what?
Emery took stock when he came into the club. That's why he gave Iwobi a new contract. Some people were expecting Iwobi to go to Italy.
I agree, Turkish. It's easier to sort those contracts out. They're not the big money. They're not the high-profile contracts like this. And I think that he could be looking on it and saying to himself, I need a wide player. Do I pay this guy £200,000 a week and I don't even know if he's going to start every week because he don't start every week, does he?
Yeah.
Or do I just say, let's just cash in on him, try and move him out in January, get what we can in for him and try and go out there, keep that wages aside.
This should have been made in August because Unai Emery was appointed very early enough to know the players that fit his system. Probably he was not expecting Guendouzi to kind of.
But he's still getting used to the system though, isn't he?
No,
he hasn't even really found the complete
but
system.
Why would you? I mean, you would know when you come into a club. That's why he sold some players. When you come into a club, you know those that you're going to use as a coach. You should know. Because remember his interview, we were told that he gave a detailed analysis of every player in the squad. So he knew everybody. Yeah. He came on, and then months later, then he's pulling out the plug. It seems very strange to me. personally, you cannot really sell a player in the prime of his career to a rival, a top 6 or top 4.
Is he going to
club.
start, Ramsey? Would he start in
No,
your...
but he's an asset to have. He's the most experienced, the longest 7 player in your team.
No, I'm just saying, in your lineup...
In my lineup, probably not. Probably.
So you're going to pay...
Again, probably not. I mean, the coach looks like a coach that kind of sees the game like, as per every different team. I know the skill set to use for Birmingham City. I know the skill set to use for Manchester City. So he could come in very well. He could start in place of Xhaka, for instance. It depends on what you want to play. Personally, I think, for instance, if I was the coach, if I'm playing Manchester City, I'll actually start the tank on the left together with Monreal to block things. It depends on the skill set you want to use. So he is.
It's a lot of money for a bit part player, isn't it?
That's it. We've already got Ozil on high wages, and we don't even know if he has a place in this team.
The kid deal is coming. Money is coming from Adidas. We have money.
Yeah, the other day, 40 million to spend next summer came out as well. Like it's 99.
I don't think anybody really knows what the best team is at the moment at Arsenal. So to make that decision that after 2 months, I think is a bit harsh.
Yeah.
You know, how I see the Aaron Ramsey thing and the situation is that a lot of people have got a lot of hate for him because he's demanding this and demanding that. I like to look from his point of view. This is a player that's had his legs shattered playing for Arsenal.
Exactly.
Been at the club for 10 years. He's then see players like Aubameyang and Mkhitaryan walk into the team earning more money than him.
Exactly.
Allegedly on £180,000 a week. And I feel that if it was me, I'd be saying, well, I'm entitled to have a piece of that pie as well. And the fact of the matter is, Arsenal have allowed this situation to happen by letting his contract run out. And what worries me is that, as a fan, what annoys me about the situation is that for many years Arsenal have turned around and said, right, well, we've got to scrimp and save. Because we've got to pay for this stadium and pay for this and pay for that. So we're going to have to scrimp and save and, sell our best players. And now we've got to a situation where 2 of our best young players, in Aaron Ramsey and Jack Wilshere, are going to walk away from the club for nothing. And is that right?
No,
is that right? If they're going to leave, then, for me, if Aaron Ramsey was to leave Arsenal and we sold him for 40, 50 million and he went off to Barcelona, it would be with a heavy heart, I'd understand it. But to let him go for nothing at the end of the season is unbelievable. And people are turning around and saying, oh, well, we're selling him in January. We're selling him in January. Well, why would he want to be sold in January? You know what I mean? When he can go to a team and get a £15 million or £20 million signing on fee, which he's not going to be out of command in January. And the fact of the matter is that, the mystery of not doing the contract or giving it away or whatever, why wouldn't they just say, look, sign this, we give you this, and then the power would have been back in Arsenal's court to sell him in the next season or whatever.
And I agree, and we go back to Robbie's point at the beginning, which I agree with. The mismanagement of contracts is a major issue and needs to be ironed out.
And we're still doing it.
We are still, and like Robbie said, I wanted to let Ramsey go in the summer to avoid this situation happening again, because I was tired of the contract issues last season. I was tired of hearing about it. I just want to watch football.
If a player is coming, you look at how those the other clubs operate, the other big clubs all around Europe. If a player's coming down towards the end of his contract, and then we're not talking about the last 6 months, say a year, with a lot of them 2 years left.
Even some.
They go to that player and they start saying, right, time to start renegotiating your contract, right? If that player, they can't come to a deal with, or they're refusing or whatever, they then sell him then. That's when you get the maximum amount of money for that player. If you leave it until now, we'll get... I think he will go in January. I do, because I think in January, what Arsenal are going to be doing, they're going to be touting him out to everybody, right, for about 15, 20 million pounds, because they look on it and think, we can get that for that, it's better than him going at the end of the season for nothing. There'll be clubs out there more than happy to, we've heard of Liverpool are interested, Man United, and, they'll offer him the wages he wants, right?
And if he doesn't agree personal terms, he's still with us.
Yeah, if he doesn't agree personal terms, but if it's one of those big clubs that come in for him and offer him the wages that he wants, he's going to go. Of course he's going to go. He's going to look on it. He's going to say, I don't know Arsenal anything because they're the ones who said I should go. So if Man United, Chelsea, Liverpool, all of those clubs are interested in him, come in and they say, right, Ramsey, we give you 200 grand a week, which that's nothing to them, right? He'll be gone to one of our rivals. And this is what we could have avoided if we would have dealt with this problem last season. It's a bit like, you know, when you got an illness and you don't go to the doctor. That's how our transfer thing is. Yeah. We leave it so late that it's too late. You're going to die.
We're on the back foot. By the time we negotiate, we're already on the back foot, which doesn't leave us in a...
Yeah, and then now, I don't know, can you blame Emery? Because Emery's just coming now, and Emery's just saying, I got to build a squad. I need to, you know, and obviously, we can see already that they're not giving him the proper amount of money to spend, right, on players, right? So he's probably looking at, as I said, because I know with a lot of fans, we look at just the amount of money a transfer is. So we'll look on, 30 million, 20 million, whatever. But actually, what really sometimes is the biggest factor is the wages. And if Ramsey wants, like what we've been hearing, 250 grand a week and things like that, well, not just Emery, you know, obviously now it's different now, isn't it? Because they got this whole team doing it. They might be looking at it and thinking, £250,000 on one player, we could go and get 2 players for that of top quality. They might even have identified a couple of players already. They may be looking at it and saying, you know what, we need a winger, which we all know we do need, more than we need another central player. Because, you know, actually, we've got a lot of players who can play in that position that Ramsey plays. Let's try and ship him out in January for a 15, 20 mil, get him off the wage bill, and then we'll get in what we need. That's how they're looking at it. I don't blame the new guys. Yeah. It's the old regime who messed up this whole Ramsey thing.
It's still a lot of money to lose, though, isn't it? Even if they were to say, you're talking about the wages, and I agree with what you're saying, but if they're to lose those wages, they're still going to take what, a £30 million hit, you reckon, on what they're going to lose on it. So I can't see why they don't just say, look, sign the contract, and then 6 months later say, we've had a change of mind. I don't know.
They could be looking at Lee and saying, well, you know, we've got a lot out of him. We've got the best out of him. They might also be looking at it saying he's injured a lot as well. He has had a lot of injury problems over the years. So it's interesting. I was looking at Wilshere since he's gone to West Ham. Again, he's injured a lot, isn't he, at West Ham?
You know,
maybe even those factors they might be looking at and saying the guy's injured a lot as well.
That's my issue with Ramsey. My issue is not him as a player or what he does. My issue is how can he demand the money he's demanding when he's not that quality of player?
Well, listen, I don't know. No one knows what he's demanding. But if I was him or I'd be going into my agent, I'd be saying to him, well, I want at least the same amount as what them two guys are on.
That's how I'm demanding for a show like yours now. From what? What is that?
He's exactly.
You ain't getting it.
The manager is here. I'm sure the manager is listening. He has to fix this thing.
Exactly. If you was like working in a job, I've said this before, but if you're working in a job, right, for 10 years, and like Robbie comes in and starts earning twice as much money as me, you know, I'm going to go to the manager and I'm going to go that something's not right here. You know what I mean? Why should they be earning more money than me after what I've done for this football club? Not only has he broken his leg playing for the club, career-threatening injury, he's won us 2 FA Cups with goals. I know it's not just him, but
he did get paid when he broke his leg, by the way.
Yeah, he did get paid for that, but like, you know, it's not by no fault of his own. I also believe with Ramsey that if he hadn't got that injury, he would be one of the best players that's ever played for Arsenal. I do believe that. When I go back to the game against Portsmouth when he scored and come on as a kid, he had that little bit of extra pace. You know, like I do think that the injury took a half a yard off of his game. In pace-wise, and he still turned in to be a magnificent player. And I do agree with what he's saying is that the injuries, you know, like even when he had that fantastic season, he still missed 2 months of it. And I think that, you know, like because of that injury, I do feel that he still gets these injuries now.
He should be the captain of the club.
Yeah,
when you think
and I think he's a wonderful player from you know, and unfortunately, whether it's because of management issues in the past or whatever, it's not happened for him. But my argument is, you know, that he and the hate that he gets is because he's trying to demand something. You know what I mean? And I'm not criticising Mesut Ozil when I say this, but you know, he has more holidays than anybody. You know, and he's getting 350 grand a week. And
You said that on the last show. You are criticising.
I am criticising. But I look at it and I just think, to say, as a player, I would be going, well, look, he's off on holiday again. You know what I mean? He's getting this amount of money. I feel that I deserve to be given this amount of money. The problem what Arsenal have done is that they've set a precedent with Mesut Ozil, and every player that's going to go into their contract now is going to be saying, well, I want this and I want that.
And you know what it is, Lee? To counter that a bit, Ozil doesn't deserve 350k. 100% he doesn't. But at the end of each season, if you look, Ozil will create the most chances at Arsenal Football Club, by far. Probably top 2, top 3 in the league.
Do you know what as well, though?
Whereas Ramsey asking for a contract, it just goes back to, I scored 2 FA Cup final goals. But what does he do consistently over a season where he can justify asking for such a contract? Even Ozil could have used them chips in his favour. I'm still the top 2 creator in the league. I still create the most chances for you.
All right, I'll argue with you on that, right? Tottenham away. He's gone there and he's scored against them. He scored against Liverpool. You know what I mean? He scored a couple of goals at White Hart Lane, I believe. You know, he scored 2 goals in FA Cup finals. When there's been big games, Aaron Ramsey steps up. Yeah. You know what I mean? And he's done that, and the proof's in the pudding. Yeah. You know, like, so it's a, you know, I get when people, there is this argument, and I don't understand it with Arsenal. You know what I mean? It's even gone back to the olden days. You know what I mean? Like, Paul Davis was a fantastic player for Arsenal, but when he first came into the team, he was slagged off left, right and centre. It's a trait with Arsenal fans, I'm afraid. You know what I mean? I don't understand why people look to the negatives of what Aaron Ramsey does. You know what I mean? Like, look at the positives, and there's lots of them. You know, everybody goes on about Mesut Ozil. Oh, look at the assists. Well, I'm pretty sure Aaron Ramsey's had a lot of assists. He's certainly had a lot of goals. Yeah. You know, and I do feel that there are times we look to the negatives. Exactly. There's a lot of positives with Aaron Ramsey. I understand that the injury problems and everything like that as well. But for me, I feel he's entitled and justified to ask for a certain amount of money. Now, the fact is, right, we ain't going to give him that. But then, as Robbie just said, Chelsea and Manchester United are prepared to do that.
That's just the problem.
So why are they prepared to do it and we're not?
This is the problem. The problem is, it's not Aaron Ramsey, it's not Unai Emery, it's not even the fans having a go at Aaron Ramsey. The problem is Stan Kroenke, the board. £200,000. We're here saying, oh, you know, it's too much. It's the going rate.
It is.
If for a player of Aaron Ramsey's quality, that's the going rate. And when his agent is going in, you know, you got to remember that, you know, his agent who represents him, you know, I've met a couple of agents, and when they explain to you, they're like, listen, we're looking after the interests of our clients. So when they're going in there, they're like, listen, he at Chelsea's on that. He down there's, you know, City's on this, other person on. They're not just comparing him with Mesut Ozil. They're talking about other players and what he could get at other clubs. Yeah, exactly. So they're like, he would like to stay at Arsenal. He could get 200 at City. He could get 200 at Man United. But you know what? Give us 190. And then when Arsenal then turn around as usual.
170.
Yeah, but, you know, no. But that's when these players, how many players have left us because of this same situation? Really and truly, we should be, if he wants 200, it shouldn't, you know, we should be just saying, all right, here's the 200, and saying to Unai Emery, there's your player. We know you need a winger, we'll get you that as well. But because of the way in which I just think we're tight with transfers still, you could see the budget in the summer. Yeah. I was disappointed. I think Unai Emery's done well when you consider the amount of money they gave us. A brand new manager coming in to take over a club that's, let's remember, last season was dreadful. Yeah. And you only give a guy about £70 million. I mean, really net-wise, it's probably about 50 million, 50. Which is when we all heard about it at the start of last the transfer window. He's got no chance, can't. And you give him less to spend than Fulham and all these Wolves and all these sort of teams. It's not enough. If we're going to compete, you've got to have a great squad. You need Ramsey, you need Ozil, you need, and then you need to add to that as well.
Yeah. And that's my beef, Robbie. And my beef is, you know, when you look at it, like, you know, you're saying, oh well, we want to get a winger, so we've got to sacrifice Aaron Ramsey. Why should we be sacrificing Aaron Ramsey? We should be saying, right, we'll go and get the winger, not only because of that. as a fan, we spend a lot more money than a lot of other clubs, right? You know what I mean? When we go to the Emirates, we've got this new stadium because that's what they told us to leave for it, like. And then they're prepared to let players go for nothing down the other end of it.
No, you're right.
You know what I mean? So, but as a fan, no, we'll have to sacrifice one of our players because we need a wide player. No, it's not our money. You know what I mean? Like, let the board do their job. Their job is to make sure that we are challenging, not winning, challenging for titles. Now, for challenging for a title, we need Aaron Ramsey in that squad, whether he's playing or not, because at the end of the day, if Mesut Ozil gets injured or we need so-and-so to come on, change games like we do, you need those sort of players. I don't see Manchester City and Manchester United going, I'll tell you what, we'll have to sell Pogba because we need to buy a wide player. Their attitudes are not like that.
Funnily enough.
So why is ours? And I think the fans are now got to say, we've got to change our attitude. We've been told we ain't got this money out of skinflint all the time. And we're now in 2018, we moved into that stadium in 2006, and we're still saying, we have to let him go because we need a wide player. You know, it's not on.
To it.
It's not on, you know what I mean? And you know, because of mistakes of the ball, they've got a care of duty. That board has got a care of duty to us fans, and they're not doing it. And you know, as far as I'm concerned, I've got no problems with Aaron Ramsey asking for 250, 300. That's up to him, whatever he asks for. Whether they give it to him is a different matter.
So you said, innit, with the the employee's been there for a long time, coming and speaking. In any job you're doing, you want the going rate.
Of course you do.
And the going rate, it does sound ridiculous to us, 200 grand a week and stuff like that. But the going rate for a top player who's, remember, brilliant in the World Cup, brilliant in the Euros, considered one of the top midfielders in the going rate is 200 grand plus.
You just can't meet an employer and say going rate is 200, pay 200 or pay 190. No, there needs to be a negotiation. I want the best for myself as well. So you can't blame the club in a way. They need to negotiate and they need to drag it. They need to look at stats. They need to look at runs. They need to look at, like you said, the injury record and everything and say, okay, am I paying I'm paying the going rate, but is it worth my money? So they need to look at this thing. So you can't really blame the club for negotiating. They are not dummies.
Yeah, but what we're saying is they pulled now. They
pulled. Yeah, that's the thing. I'm not happy with that.
Yeah,
after agreeing,
but really, when we break it down, the club should be able to. What was it they said he wanted? 200.
Yeah.
The club should be able to pay 200 and keep a player of Ramsey's quality. We shouldn't be in this, and that's why I said I don't blame Ramsey. I don't blame Unai Emery. And as I said, I can't, the fans, you can't blame the fans, right? You've got to blame, the club.
Yeah.
You
the
look
club,
at Mkhitaryan,
they must have consulted the coach. Are you saying that the coach is just...
yeah, but it's still the club, isn't it? Because if they consult the coach...
And the coach say, okay, yeah, I don't need him.
No, hold on. If they consult the coach and they say, yeah, listen, you can have him, but that means when you have him now, the budget's done for getting any wide players or getting it, then the coach might look on it and say, boy, I want Ramsey. When he came in at Arsenal, he said, I want Ramsey, he's my captain. That's what he said.
And that's why...
So he wants him, so he come in and he said, you know what, I want Ramsey, but boy, I need a wide player. I can see already, I need a wide player, I need this, I need that. And if they're saying they're going to give me no money to get that, then boy, I'm going to have to sacrifice Ramsey.
Money's coming in from Adidas. There's no way they're not going to give him money. Money's coming in.
Adidas, you think he might not even touch none of that money?
But on the
you know what our club's like?
Yeah.
There's been money's coming before. You know what I mean? Do you see it being spent?
No, this is a new regime, isn't it? This is a new...
It's the same owner of the club. Not only that, he owns 100% now. So he can do what he wants. Right? I'm not as confident as you that when that Adidas money comes in,
Well,
he might buy him a tracksuit each, that might be bad.
The Puma money ain't been sold yet. They ain't spent that, have they?
Yeah.
That was another 40
He ain't paying off no money really on the stadium no more. Where's all the money going?
Yeah. That's been
Arsenal's
problem.
Confident that all of that Adidas money is going to go to transfers?
No, I'm not saying but money's going to come to transfers, obviously. Money's going to
How much do you reckon?
Listen, when it comes to Adidas money, Robbie, next year, right? Like Christmas is coming soon. All the kids are all going to go out, and fans are going to go out and buy Puma stuff. And then come August, right? Us fans are all going to forget about the Puma stuff and go out and buy Adidas, right? And the club expects every single one of us to go out and buy something. Like the shops will be packed because Arsenal fans do that. So all we're asking now, as a fan, is, right, I don't mind going buying free kits from Adidas, right, you know what I mean? But give me something back. Give me something back. Give me a wide player. Give me Dembele, or give me whoever. You know what I mean? Not, give me, like, they're like Indian givers. You know what I mean? Like the Arsenal board. They take something, like, you know, like you remember in the old Cowboys would sell you some blankets, and then as you go around the corner, they ambush them back. You know what I mean? Like, this is what they're doing here. Right, at the end of the day, they're taking your money, right? They're taking your money, go, we're going to buy Dembele. Thank you very much. Go around the corner and they've sold Ramsey. You know what I mean? This is what they're doing. And we can laugh about it, and it is a joke, but that is what they're doing. They are doing it. They're Indian givers. Right?
That's true, it's true. Now, that's a new term for me.
Stick with me, I'll share a few. Like,
but you know what? Let's get, like, with Ramsey, like you said, Emery's come in, told Wilshere, I don't need you. Told Ramsey, I want you. Yeah? Signed Xhaka to a new contract. Now, moving forward, he was probably hoping Ramsey signs the contract. He's told him, I need him. Let's start the season. Okay, I get that. You started the season without signing the contract, and Emery's allowed that to happen. Emery's job now, do I plan forward with this player in the team, or do I play without knowing whether he's going to sign? And it comes down to, I think we played Chelsea pre-season, or someone we played, and Ramsey came out afterwards. And this is a question for everyone. Ramsey came out after, and they asked him about Arsenal. Now, remember what Ozil said when he was under pressure to sign a contract? I love North London, I love Arsenal, I'm happy here. Then he tweeted again a few months later, don't worry about the news. Why can't Ramsey come out and say, I love Arsenal, I want to stay here? In that interview, why did he turn around and say, it's not up to me, it's my agent. Do you want to stay? It's not up to me, it's my agent. What's the deciding factors? I'm not even sure. Does that sound like a man that loves the club?
Yeah, I mean, for me, he loves the club. For me, he wants
But why can't he say it? Ozil said it. Why can't Aaron Ramsey say it?
See, people are different. People are different, and he's maybe getting feedback from his agent, like Robbie is saying. It's different, and it's like, man, these guys want to pull out this thing, and you don't want to spoil your market.
I can't see past that, Kelechi. That's one thing I can't see past. Another man can't tell me not to say I love my club.
But he has always said he wants to stay.
Where?
What I would say...
Read up.
No, what the little thing when the contract went and the agency said, he wants to stay, but the contract's
you know what,
been
Turkish,
removed.
what it is with an agent, they might turn around to their player and say, don't say nothing.
Yeah, don't say nothing.
Don't say, if you start saying you love the club, I want to say,
your career.
then they'll say, when they're the other side will say to himself, we love the club so much and all that, he desperately wants to say, so yeah, we'll just stick at 150.
I mean, that gives us the debate, though.
But if
he comes out and says, I love Arsenal, we'd all be here like,
no, but
sign him up to a contract.
if he just makes it like, well, sort of leaves that doubt that he could go, then all of us are talking about it and saying, hey, they better sort this out. So that's what I was saying during the summer. I was like, sort it out, Arsenal. Give this man the money. Give him... So it puts a lot of pressure on the board. It's a very smart play that a lot of agents use.
Yeah.
So a lot of times it's not necessarily that the player doesn't love the club or doesn't want to stay at the club. But, basically, the agents tell him not to. Remember with Van Persie, they used to ask him after every game. He never say anything. Although you knew what he was hatching up. That's why he knew he was going to go. But, a lot of times I think it's the agents that say to these players,
so
don't say anything either way.
You look
basically, if you turn around and say, I love this place so much, I'm desperate to stay. The people in negotiate on the other end, he loves it.
you look at it like with Sanchez. Sanchez turned around, went into negotiations, said, I'm happy to stay here, but I'm not signing another contract. But I'm willing to stay to the end of the season, but I'm not signing a new contract. He went in and said that. Aaron Ramsey's not actually said that, is he? He's not actually come out and said, I'm not signing a new contract. He was prepared to sign a contract. So that tells you something. Does Aaron Ramsey love Arsenal? I think he loves Arsenal, certain thing. But at the end of the day, he's a Cardiff boy. He supports Cardiff. You know what I mean? Like, you have to get your head around that these players are not like us. You know what I mean? Like, if you're lucky enough, there are players that have supported the club, and then luckily enough they've gone on to play for it. But there comes a time, whether it was Ian Wright or whoever, right, when the club say, right, well, no, that's it now. 1998, you're off Ian. Like, there's no loyalty for him to say, well, you've done fantastically well. We'll give you another year. unless you're Mertesacker or someone like that, it doesn't happen. Like, you know what I mean? there is that thing where, so you have to be, as a player, you've got to be a little bit more brutal and a little bit more single-minded. At the end of the day, there's loyalty to a certain degree, but there comes a time and a line when the player goes over it and the club goes over it.
Players told me that before. A player said that to me before. He said to me, he said, listen, clubs ain't loyal.
No.
He said, if I'm not playing, they get rid of me like tomorrow, if I'm not playing well. And it's true. Now, how many times
Arsenal is loyal, and they've been loyal to Cazorla, Diaby, Ramsey through injuries. They've been loyal to a hell of a lot of players through injuries. They could have let Ramsey go years ago when he was playing 10 games a year.
Yeah, but if they'd done that, Turkish, you know what I mean? Like, you've just broken your leg, we're going to release you. It'd be like,
not straight away,
you know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day, listen, I'll be really blatantly honest with you, like, you know, if Aaron Ramsey would have come back and hadn't proved himself, Arsenal would have dumped him. Like when Diaby come along, at certain something along the line, they did get rid. You know what I mean? Like, and yeah, they've been loyal to Cazorla, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, Cazorla now is playing somewhere else.
But then the argument is, did anyone prove themselves under Wenger? Because I disagree with that. Ramsey didn't come back and prove himself to me. He had his best season, he broke his leg, and since he's come back, no Arsenal player has proved themselves in the past 5, 6, 7, 8 years.
No, he did. Ramsey, after breaking his leg, he came back and proved himself.
How did he prove
in
himself?
The season he scored, was it 16 goals?
Think about the standard of team we had.
Yeah.
When we had Vieira, Petit and these players, yeah? We're moving on, Fabregas even, yeah? Now we're saying that Ramsey's proved himself. How did Ramsey prove himself? We were not close to a league.
He came back, he didn't win anything in 9 years.
That ain't just Aaron Ramsey's fault.
We signed Ozil when we won the FA Cup, so should we say that's because we signed Ozil?
My brother, he scored
There's a lot of factors.
He scored the winning goal, that's all I saw in that match.
Sanchez scored in that match, Cazorla scored in that match.
Yeah, you have to be really honest about certain things, you know, like, and I agree. Van Persie, for instance, another one, that Arsenal stuck by him, you know. They did stick by him, but when it come down to it, he decided to go, you know. But it also comes down to there's a lot of players that when it doesn't matter who you are, you've got a sell by date. And Patrick Vieira we've not replaced Patrick Vieira, in my opinion, since the day he left this football club. No. But Arsene Wenger felt that he wasn't going to be the same player as he was, shipped him out, off he went, you know what I mean? And you know, one of the players you can say was who got a little bit of a raw deal was Robert Perez when it really mattered. You know, they didn't give him the contract he wanted, off he went. So there is a little bit of that, and it doesn't, because you're a fan. Listen, we can never change. We can never change our club, can we? We can't do it. But there are players that have played for Arsenal, that have supported Arsenal and gone and played for other clubs. You know what I mean? But they still follow Arsenal, but it's different, you know. And
the nightmare is that he rocks up at a Man United.
Of course it is, and does
Chelsea,
the business.
And does the business, which
is worrying.
He very well could do, you know what I mean? He's a good player.
I don't see that happening.
I know you don't really rate him. I don't
Turkish
don't really rate him, I don't know.
Everyone worried about Oxlade going Liverpool to do his thing. Same story. Ramsey will be the same story. Ramsey, he won't even start at his club. If he's not starting at Arsenal, where's he going to go and start?
That's the one thing. That's the one thing I'd say.
So is it money then?
When it boils down to the fact that they're giving him a limited budget, and you have to look at it and say to yourself, all four of us sitting there, in our starting lineup right now, would he start?
I'd start Ramsey, funnily enough.
Although I might start him instead of Xhaka.
Number 8.
Thank you very much.
Thank
you
you,
know what
yeah.
I mean? Like, there's another one that's got a contract, by the way. Can I swear on here, like? You know?
It's uncensored, don't worry.
Shaka shit, I called him, but anyway, that's another thing, like, you know. But like, you know, again, another player that cause debate. You know what I mean? Like, he has some good games, but like, no one. He got a new contract this year.
Yeah.
He got a new contract. Nothing said about that. And I look at him and I think, well, can't Ramsey play in his position?
That's what I'll keep
Ramsey
thinking.
and Torreira would be my centre mid pairing. Ozil in front of them.
Ramsey and Torreira, Ozil in front.
But like, you know, but Xhaka does. I see what Xhaka does. He's got a good range of passing, but every week he gives away the ball. But you know, again, was given a contract straight away. So if you're Aaron Ramsey, thinking, God, he's got a contract.
Exactly.
I don't
Mind
know
you, how much, but he's not on the same amount of money though.
Yeah, but I don't know.
It's a new
He's
contract. He ain't on 200 grand a week, is he, Xhaka?
Well, nor is Aaron Ramsey at this moment in time.
Yeah, but that's what he wants. He wants 200.
maybe, you know what I mean, like, you know, Xhaka's, you know, not what, if he was at the last year of his contract, he might have been able to demand a little bit more. Otherwise, he'd have gone for nothing. You know what I mean? It comes down to negotiation of the fee. If they've had these contracts negotiation with Aaron Ramsey 2 years ago, that's before Mkhitaryan and all that come in there. I don't think there's no way that Aaron Ramsey would have said, "I want 200 grand a week." He would have been more realistic and gone 150.
Rate, man. It's the market rate.
But the way that it's gone and the way the contract's running down now, you know, I still think. Do you want my honest opinion? I still think that come January that they'll get around the table again and have another discussion. Whether it will end up with him signing, it might be too late. But you know, I still feel that, you know, I'm with you. Why take the risk and let him? You know, he could go to bloody Spurs, for instance. They can't afford nothing. They can't, so he can get him for free. You know what I mean? Like at the end of it,
they wouldn't pay the wages though.
Well, you know what I mean. This is what I'm saying. Why I don't want him going to another club and being a success.
That's something. Okay, to round this up then. Yeah, let's take it. He's not signing, or we've removed the contract offer. Yeah, Kelechi, January. What do you do? Sell Ramsey, buy a replacement. Sell Ramsey, buy a winger, or just keep Ramsey. Let him go for free.
Keep Ramsey. He's at the peak of his career, so hopefully, like Lee said, they will get around in January and start talking again. But yeah. I just can't see him going, and I can't see him fitting into another team, to be honest. Unless you want to sell Pogba.
To be honest, I threw up the idea of if Jose's still in charge of United. Jose is a stupid manager when it comes to young players. Yeah, he's stupid. Yeah. Offer Ramsey for Martial. See if he says yeah. If he doesn't say yeah, go to PSG. Offer Ramsey for Rabiot. Rabiot's got 6 months left. Good centre mid, box to box. Why not give these offers? That's what I would do in January personally. I'll go and Rob. What would you do?
If it's not done, you have to sell him.
Yeah.
You have to sell him. He walks away at the end of the season for nothing. You got to sell him. Try and get 15, 20 million. You're not going to get much more than that. Take that money and try and get a Nabil Fekir, or try and get a top quality winger or somebody like that. Use the money wisely.
Yeah.
But how many more times are we going to let valuable assets go for free? That's the English core gone, isn't it? That's
no, Jenkinson's there, don't forget.
Right.
Lee? I'll keep Ramsey to the end of the season. It's not my money.
So would you be happy with a Martial swap, or you'd be upset that Ramsey's gone?
He's a bit hit and miss, isn't he, Martial? It might, you know what I mean, if I'll be honest. Has Mkhitaryan been a success in that swap deal with Sanchez?
I think
what about Sanchez for Ramsey? No, or is that too controversial?
Sanchez is finished. I don't want him around these parts
anymore. Look, listen.
Alexis, I mean,
that's quite interesting, actually.
I agree with you. It's an interesting debate. And personally, I've seen the hate on Alexis. I mean, I don't care about him, but till the last day, he was professional. He was professional. Yes, he'll bitch about,
but he wasn't.
When he was chucking his hands in the air.
No, but that's different.
Throwing his gloves down.
But I'm looking at
arguing with everybody in the dressing
before
room.
He left the Liverpool game and everything. Man was scoring and doing his job. He won't celebrate, he was not.
Kelechi was not a team player. Towards the end of his career at Arsenal, he was not a team player. He was upset in the dressing room.
Was one of the main people upset.
Remember when he left? How many people said goodbye to him? I think it's only Ozil.
Yeah, I think
nobody else. Everyone just, it was like good riddance.
Him and his dogs, man. That was his only friendship at Arsenal.
I wouldn't actually take him back because they would know. It's time now to move on from all these guys.
Yeah, I was kidding you.
Trying to face trouble.
I was kidding.
So we're divided here, Mr. Kelechi and Lee are saying keep Ramsey. Me and Rob are saying if he's not signing, then move him on, swap him. But thank you for tuning in. Obviously, this is the Supporters Club. Let us know what you think in the comments below. Make sure you subscribe, like, share, retweet, put down your Insta story, all of that stuff. Yeah, and tune in next time.